Since 2014, the Israeli army has sprayed herbicides using aerial crop dusters to clear vegetation along the eastern borders of the besieged Gaza Strip. The spraying takes place only on easterly winds, blowing from Israel to Gaza, carrying the substances with them. Prior to spraying, the Israeli army uses the smoke from a burning tyre to confirm the direction of the wind. Responding to a Freedom of Information request in 2016, the Israeli Ministry of Defense confirmed that aerial herbicides are sprayed along the width of the perimeter of Gaza. It confirmed the substances sprayed contain 3 herbicides: glyphosate or Roundup, oxyflorphan, and Duron. The spraying complements ground forces and bulldozers that regularly enter the strip, demolishing structures and trees in order to enhance visibility for Israeli military operations. On April 5, 2017, a field worker with the NGO Gisha recorded this video from the Gazan side of the border area near Khan Yunis. The video shows a Model S2R T-34 turbo thrush aircraft spraying herbicides along the eastern border of Gaza. We analysed these videos to determine how far into Gaza the herbicides are carried by the wind and the concentration of the chemicals deposited. We began with the GPS location of the videographer, as it was recorded by his smartphone. We established the camera cone of vision by comparing the dimensions of visible landmarks, such as the watchtower. We used camera calibration to find the location of the plane. Then, we used motion tracking to model the path of the plane while it had sprayed herbicide, in time and space.
لف معاه نزل يلا روح يلا.
Before each spray, the plane dives to roughly 20 meters altitude to get closer to the ground. Each spray goes on for a duration of 2 to 5 seconds.
والله غاد نزل نزول لهم فرشت عندي زراعة. لو يوطي بهمش، عارف لو يوطي بوصلناش. كل ما يوطي بوصلناش. صح. والمشكلة كمان هم أعلى منا بكثير. والله يا رب، والله يا رب ما احنا عارفين نتلقاها من وين، الحمد لله على كل حال. ولا ما جبتش فحم يا حمود معاك. بس
The plane covers the area that is set to be fumigated by taking linear paths and going back and forth. We were able to identify 6 such spraying paths during the course of the 2 videos. All sprayings were conducted close to the border with Gaza and on the Israeli side. With help from a fluid dynamics expert, we were able to simulate each spray event using our flight path reconstruction and the meteorological conditions at the time of spraying. we compiled key variables such as wind direction, wind speed, humidity, temperature, and the characteristics of the spraying system fixed to the plane. As wind moves across the path of the herbicide spray, it carries chemicals westward, which are then deposited onto Gazan lands. Pink indicates concentrations of glyphosate deposits that would be harmful to most plants according to European standards on the use of glyphosate. Our simulation results indicate that during the spraying on April the 5th, harmful concentrations of herbicide drift reached in excess of 300 metres into Gaza. This suggests that Palestinian crops could have been harmed as a result of herbicide drift. Satellite imagery analysis reveals visual indicators for the presence and health of vegetation. We compared satellite imagery 5 days and 15 days after the spraying. Vegetation degradation is visible across much of the same area potentially affected by herbicide drift. In this image, yellow and red pixels indicate areas in which vegetation was reduced to different extents. We believe that herbicides carried by winds during and after the Israeli army spraying on April the 5th contributed to the degradation on the Gazan side of the border. If we follow the known path of target areas for herbicide spray along the Gaza border, we can observe that the areas closest to the border display vegetation degradation similar to that observed in Khan Younis. Following another confirmed spraying flight by the Israeli army on January the 9th and 10th, 2018, also in the Khan Younis area, the Gaza Ministry of Agriculture actively surveyed dozens of farms reporting crop damage. Palestinian farmers living hundreds of metres away from the border reported damage to crops totalling 250 acres following the January spraying. Thereafter, farmers spotted herbicide damage to their leafy crops. 1 year later, in December 2018, we gathered similar samples of leaves 3 days after an army spraying that exhibited characteristic damage from a contact herbicide. The leaves of plants function like sensors that record memories of environmental violence along the Gazan border. Our investigation affirms that the army protocol of spraying herbicides by air while wind travels into Gaza has uncontrollable effects, damaging Palestinian farms hundreds of metres away from the border. Since 2014, spraying along the border of the occupied Gaza Strip has created a dead zone of entire swathes of formerly arable land.